shape, but it's not gonna make you Iron Man or anything. Just make it so you wouldn't have a heart attack while running, chasing somebody.
Today was her first day back, wasn't it?
Yep. Yup.
Well, evidently it made one guy have a heart attack.
Right. You gotta get through it and then you won't have it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I hope he recovered.
He did good, he just had to have a couple stints, cause there's a lot of people that were older that
Yeah.
had been through it before, but then retired and just let their certification lapse, so then they get convinced, cause they don't have a sheriff's office or something, like, well, we need someone, will you come back a little bit? Like, yeah, but then they have to get their certification again.
When I was in seminary in New Orleans in the mid-90s, they got a new police chief. The old one had got sent away for corruption, there's a surprise. And, the new police chief was formerly had been the assistant police chief from Washington DC. And, he asked about the background checks. This was 1995. And background checks, what background checks? So they did background checks on the guys at the academy, and out of 40, something like 20-something of them were convicted felons. And their solution to that, they had never done a background check on a policeman in New Orleans since they founded the city in the 1700s. And their solution to this problem was to send all the felons that were still in the academy home, and all the felons that were still on the police force, they grandfathered in. New Orleans has to be experienced to be disbelieved.
Well, it's our felons and those felons.
So they probably knew what was going on,
Yeah.
illegal activities.
Would you like to,
Certainly, sir.
Ben? Better call.
Let's take a moment and pray. Our Lord and Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. Father, thank you for the gift of salvation. Father, as the city council meets tonight, I ask that you would guide them and give them wisdom in the decisions that they make. Father, I lift up the city employees as they go about their work. Father, I pray that you would keep them safe. And Father, I thank you for the weather that you have provided. And Father, as the winter goes on, I pray that you would keep everyone safe. And Father, I thank you for the place that we live in. Father, I thank you for this community. Father, I pray that you would keep it and continue to guide the leaders of this community. Guide the leaders of this city. Father, in your Son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Must be Tammy.
Okay, put you on speaker.
I figured that's who it would be.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order and begin with the pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion on the table is to approve the agenda for this evening. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. On pages 1 through 2, you'll see the minutes of our last meeting, which was held last Monday on February 26th.
I move to approve the minutes
I'll second.
as written.
A motion and to approve in a second, to approve the minutes of last meeting. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Public input.
I've got a few things for public
Okay.
input. Firstly, I would like to clarify some of my line of questioning from last week. There seemed to be some misconceptions about what I was asking and why. I didn't ask why the police department wasn't included or included in those investigations. What I was asking was if they were involved in that investigation. And frankly, the answers I was given, or that were tossed out last week, were a little bit misleading. I did have a conversation with the sheriff afterwards, and I did get a few details from him. And it turns out that the reality is basically what I had kind of assumed, is that the police department had almost nothing to do with those arrests. In fact, had nothing to do with the search warrants or the investigative aspects of it. And it's not just with these ones, it's with all of them. The overwhelming majority of the felony drug investigations and subsequent arrests are done by the sheriff's office. And I don't really know why. I mean, statistically speaking, I would think that some of that would just fall into our laps, but it doesn't seem to. In my conversation with Shane, he did say multiple times what a good job Ted is doing, how hard Ted works. And, you know, I think that does speak some volume there. And I think you got to tip your hat to Ted for doing the best he can and working hard and doing a good job. I wish I could be done with what I have to say, but I'm not. Last week, I had a pile of complaints about another police department issue. Last Thursday morning, 8 o'clock or thereabouts, during school commute traffic, there's a traffic stop on 8th Street, so it'd be right in front of my house, where a police officer pulls the person over, but then instead of pulling the car off to the side of the road, parks the police car in the middle of the road, and so far south towards the highway that the buses can't make the corner. And so then we have buses backed up for a block, and then all of the parents trying to drop their kids off backed up behind them, and we had traffic just about to the crosswalk. And, you know, that could have been rectified right on the spot, could have just moved, but we don't. We just continue and end up creating a fairly hazardous situation that just doesn't need to exist. And, you know, this isn't being done by somebody that's a rookie or doesn't know or understand. This is people with 10, 15, 20, 25 years of experience here. You know, it almost starts to seem like it's intentional, or maybe it's negligent. I don't know. And I'm sure it seems like I have a bone to pick with the police department, and I assure you, I absolutely do not. I don't. But when you have one department that constantly has complaints or issues, they're going to get brought up more. It isn't because I have a bone to pick with anybody, and especially not Ted. I think Ted's doing a great job. But there are issues over and over and over again there, and I don't know what we can do about it.
Okay.
But something needs to be done.
I don't, you know, I appreciate your input. We want to, it's good to draw attention to something, but if it's something that we are going to get with regard to, you know, personnel, then we probably need to,
Well,
Yeah.
I brought up in public input because I wanted to clarify
Okay.
my last week
All right.
question, and then also because I had so many people contact me
Yeah.
last week, I thought that seemed the time to do
Okay.
it, would be the public input part.
that's fair enough. But we want to? Go ahead.
Don't cuff him.
Is the light on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's not too often I feel a little, excuse me, I have a cold if I'm coughing, but that I'm complimented and insulted in the same conversation. So,
None of it was meant to be insulting.
it really was because you sought out Sheriff Crony to have a conversation about something. Did you contact me last week or this week?
No,
Okay. Why?
because I wanted to know what his involvement was.
No, you want to know what our involvement was.
Or lack thereof, but yes.
Did you contact me and ask me? No.
I already had a pretty good idea what the answer was from that.
Well,
And during
not to go into every single case, and I assume what you're referring to is Facebook posts of drug arrests, correct?
and the newspaper.
And the newspaper got, but you did have a response, I don't know who it was, but that we were involved, correct?
From the electrical department superintendent, so,
Okay.
but then also I was told,
Is that not good enough? If you had further questions, then why didn't you call me?
well, people sitting right here said that's a question for the sheriff. So naturally,
No, it's a question about our involvement, so contact the chief of police. And as far as a traffic stop and where the patrol car stopped, we don't get to determine where people stop their cars. They stop them in the most ridiculous places. Happens all the time.
but the patrol car is the one in the middle of the road, not against the curb, not the person being pulled over. The patrol car is the one.
I understand what you said. We don't get to determine where people stop as far as in relation to the junction, how close to the intersection. We also stop cars and we offset our patrol car to the person being pulled over. So no, I'm not gonna be up against the curb.
Then why wouldn't you just have the person move ahead? I mean, that,
I wasn't there. I'm just saying, we don't get to determine where people stop. So if they stop close enough to that intersection, and for safety reasons, the patrol car is back a ways, and his car's offset, that's,
but it's pretty simple judgment though. If the police cars, if you're gonna insist on being offset, then you gotta go up there and tell the person to pull ahead. I mean, you're making it, in theory, safer for the one person, but the 40 other people that are backed out in the highway behind school buses are in a way worse predicament.
anything's possible. I wasn't there. I don't know how long the stop was. If you sat there and watched the whole stop, how long it was. Maybe it was a quick verbal warning, ran their license, got on their way. I don't know.
It went on long enough for me to drop kids off at daycare and it's still going on, so.
Okay. Well, I think it goes to show that the police department was patrolling the school zone.
I suppose if that's the one bit of silver lining from that.
Well, I guess
Let's-
maybe
yeah.
we'll schedule a
Yeah.
training for you to teach us how to do traffic stops.
Well, you gotta be,
Better cut it off.
I'd like it to be informative, but when we start talking personnel, we can, put that on the, in executive session with regard to informative. So I think, Councilman Jones made a point, and I think, Chief, Huss made a point. So with regard to that conversation, without objection, I would just, we would, take it up, kind of in-house with regard to it. We recognize there was a concern, there is a question, and then maybe we can resolve those questions and bring that back, because there's a fine line between, the information that's being and personnel, and I don't wanna cross that line, okay?
Well, if at any
So-
time someone has a question about the police department in our action or inaction, as you described it, I would suggest and encourage that you contact, I guess, myself, being the chief of police, is a good start, as well as possibly the committee chairman, instead of asking some vague question in public input, talking to Sheriff Crony, which I work great with, as he told you. But you did all that and didn't even
Yeah.
call me, so
Okay.
I'm very disappointed.
To be
in that.
real fair, I didn't call the sheriff either. He called me.
Right.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I didn't pick sides. I didn't do any of what you're suggesting.
Okay, let's, we'll pick that, if need be, we can pick that up later, okay? Will there anything else with regard to, okay. Any other input? Okay, hearing none, the next item on the agenda on pages 3 to 5 is the department head report. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Right.
I had somebody mention to me they couldn't hear some people on the microphone, so let's make sure we speak into them.
Okay.
Thank you.
You guys mentioned the weed control at the ball field. I talked to both John and Andy Canham. What they would actually kind of suggested is John would take care of the permanent kill, sterilant, and Andy could spray like the dandelions and the thistle and stuff like that. And they actually crisscross and say, hey, let them do that and I'll do this. And they both said that, not knowing that each one of them said the same thing. So, that was, you guys asked me to do something about that, excuse me, last month already, right? Yeah. So that's kind of what they thought.
Did they give you a price on that?
No, they didn't.
That was gonna be my next question.
I know, I'll be honest with you, Andy has been spraying the park for years. He bills us about every other year. And he goes, it's kind of my donation to the park and the city. And so I mean, honestly, I don't get that many bills from them. John gives me a bill, but he does the sterilant along the fence line. And that's pretty much gonna stay the same. I did ask him about widening in the warning track where the weeds were a problem. But like he said, and I said at that meeting, the last meeting, that it will migrate. So he won't be able to get right up against that grass because it'll kill into the grass. So I'll just have him put a wider band along the fence line. So,
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, Ron.
thanks, Ron. Are any other comments from the department heads or questions from the council with regard to what each one of them have logged down here on their report?
Do we have, Ron, do we have kind of a plan for, when that one playground piece of equipment where that tree branch fell through? Do we have some plan to get that done, or?
we were just talking about that today. The guy that was supposed to look at that was here how many times last year in South Dakota? He's from Missouri.
Okay,
It's not like you can look up the part. It's not like a part number, and they make so many different sizes, different, how do I wanna say it? We got like 5 of these things in the street shop that are fairly big and triangle shape. We have them because they sent the wrong ones, because the ones that needed to be look just like it, except there's 2 little cutouts on them.
oh, okay,
So it's not like I can say I need this, because you gotta know everything about it. Craig Price mentioned, let's just put a slide at the end. Just move the slide to there and just remove that other little bit. It's not that much, and I think that's probably what we're gonna do, because
yeah.
when did that happen? August?
At least,
Ju-
and I
ju-
did
July,
contact
August,
him
so-
like 2 weeks ago and his supervisor, and I heard nothing from either
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
was,
been
I was just out at the park and then somebody was saying something about it and I didn't know that it had happened. I'd seen the plywood up there, you know, blocking
Yep.
it off, but I didn't go over and look until someone said something.
Yep. Well, like I say, it would have been taken care of if I'd have knew what to get, but it's such a specialty type thing. It's like you say, it's not like you can say it's a 19 or a 2023 Chevy with,
Sure.
you know, a wheel, you know, they're all gonna be the same, but
Yeah.
this is weird. I mean, I've worked
Oh,
with it, but like I say, them 5 things that I got, they screwed up, send them, they give them to me, well, there's really no use for them.
Well, yeah.
But I'm one of them kind of guys, this will sit there, it's out of the way anyway. But there's really nothing I can do with it.
You know, moving that slide around, that probably would work pretty good.
Well, that was Craig's idea, actually.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, can we do that? And I says, I think we will, because I'm tired of waiting on it.
Well, yeah.
Because it's a shame to have it look like that. And
Yeah,
we were literally just talking about it this morning, because we were down there doing a little work on that,
Yeah.
on that lean-to again, so.
well, and that's the piece of equipment that the littlest ones are on. and
Right.
they Might climb over and get hurt.
Yep, yep. So,
Our
Okay,
insurance
that's all I
also
have.
wants that closed, cause that's on our old insurance, and they keep asking, cause it's
Yep.
been an outstanding claim for, and it's just,
was he here twice last year in the pier area and said he
Yeah.
would run over and never did? I mean, we have emails and I'm like,
Okay,
you can't get closer than 70 miles when you live
sure.
800
Terry.
miles away, so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just was gonna ask while I was thinking about it, so
Yep.
thanks.
No problem.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
I was just gonna tell you, Olson's will be here Thursday.
Okay.
Oh, okay. good.
Terry
Good. I
indicated
was gonna
Olson
ask.
Thursday,
They told me.
It'll be
Okay.
here Thursday.
Good.
perfect. That's for the sewer repair?
okay. All right. Anything else? With regard to that, okay. Ted, on the new car. That's up on page 6 and 7.
Iverson's contacted me, and there was some sort of build deadline for a 2023 build that was missed, so it has to be a 2024 build. He did say it went up, but the government incentive also went up, so I think it should be net same as the previous approval.
Kinda dark here, isn't it? Kinda hard to see what,
Yeah. So basically, there's really not that much of a difference. I can't remember, can't recall the old one.
I can't remember the exact dollar amount.
do you know when you
But-
brought it to me? About what month? Okay, look at the agendas.
Is that in
It had to be
November, October, November?
November, December, I think.
Trying to say them all as one. September, November.
Yeah.
So what, did they have 2 of them? That's why we got the 2 different prices then?
There's, can I see it?
I
Yeah,
just
here,
saw it, didn't I?
here.
There we go.
There's like this one here and there's that one there.
$40,092.
Well, it looks like it's.
Pretty much a little less,
Yeah,
actually.
$1.
$100 more.
$100.
This is with our
Oh,
discounts.
I'm looking at the
Okay,
back
this is
page.
the one we're looking at then. Okay, all right, thank you.
Oh,
So the one on the back, the FWP, is that the one we look at then? Or is it this the actual one we're going off of?
You said the one with the discounts is the 39,000.
So 39,468 is the one with the discount.
With the government.
Yeah, so it's
discount.
actually less than what
oh, I can see, all right.
initial.
Well, whatever that attachment
Yeah.
is the number.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
Okay.
So
Oh, yeah,
it's,
it's $1 more.
No.
Sometimes it pays to be slow.
Yeah, exactly. Got a year newer for $1 more.
So it's just the same vehicle that was already approved, but be a 2024 build.
Do you have a date? Do they have any idea?
No, when I send this back to him signed, I'll ask for an estimate if they have an idea.
We don't have to amend any.
So do
I was
need
gonna
a
say, do we have to make a motion to approve?
Yeah, I would, because it's a
Because
newer
of
car.
change.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase agreement
Yeah, I'll second that.
for the amount of $40,093 for a new patrol unit.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded for the new purchase agreement for a patrol car. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Ted, you know arrival time with that?
No, I'll ask him when I email that back to him.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
He may not be able to give you an answer because I asked a salesman the other day on a Traverse. He said, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna be kind of delicate. I appreciate Councilman Jones' question. I want to assure the public that each one of us, if we have a question or have a concern, that we do make contact with our respective department heads with that matter. And then in some of those cases, if it needs to be made public, we make it public, you know. We don't try to hide anything or anything of that sort. But we, I know I do, to try to put, you know, certain concerns to rest, or to, on the other side, you know, address certain things too, as well. And, you know, and then with regard to that. So, having said that, I just, I want to, you know, just, you know, kind of smooth the water a little bit in appreciation that everybody does, but also to try to, you know, keep ourselves informed, as well as to inform the public with regard to, you know, those matters that they may have a concern with. So anyway, I'll just leave that at that. I do know, and correct me if I'm wrong, with regard to the situation, I think we had a police officer there city police officer, I heard 4 hours, but I heard a lengthy time until the search warrant was obtained. Do you have any information on that? Was the premises under surveillance? That's what I'm, you know, kind of just asking on that you can share.
I'm not gonna go into the
Yeah, and that-
details of it.
yes.
But as far as that case, that the origination of that call was with the police department.
Okay, all right, and there's a couple of things that happen, and yeah, and I appreciate that too. And that's one of those things that some things just can't be made public at certain times with regard to situations, especially situations involving our police department with regard to situation. There's another thing I observed coming home the other night, and we're just gonna leave it at that, so. And it looked like everything was under control, that's all, that's all I'll say with regard to that, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. On page 8, you'll find Helms and Associates invoice 33-120 for $14,443.25. And this is for the Miller Airport taxiway reconstruction and access road design. And that's found on page 8. I'd entertain a motion to pay Helms and Associate in that amount.
I would move that we pay Helms and Associates invoice number 33120 for the amount of $14,443.25.
I'll second.
Discussion. Hearing none, motion on the table to pay Helms Associate in the amount specified. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, then page 9 through 16, you have the BIL grant application for $90,000 for the airport project. Terry, do you have any input with regard to that, or do you want to make?
They're gonna be redoing the road going into the airport and then, going out to the runway
Okay,
for this one. I'll leave a picture on there.
yeah. And this is for the grant application with
Right.
regard to that, okay? Thank you.
And it looks like only $9,000 of that is non-federal funding?
Correct.
And that's split between us and the state.
Right.
See, and I think that's important for the public to know with regard to how much is filtered down from the federal government to the state government, and then how much municipalities are responsible for with regard to the entire project. That $90,000 not come from the Miller, only 9,000.
Actually, only 4,500, because
4,500
as
because of the state, yes.
Councilman Hargan said, 4,500 is from the state, so.
It's always a 90% federal, 5% state, 5% local.
Okay.
Make a motion that we sign the grant application for Miller Municipal Airport.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Hearing none, the motion on the table is to approve the grant application for the airport project in the amount of $90,000. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. On pages 17 through 19, the South Dakota Municipal League Work Comp Grant. This is the trenching grant for the shoring equipment. Terry?
That there's a grant that, SDML gives out every year. And there's some items on there that we'd like to have, and we can get, what is it, up to 4,000 from them?
50% up to 4,000.
Yeah,
So in this
so
case,
we'd like to apply for that, with your approval.
Terry, just for clarification, if somebody's listening, or what the shoring equipment is what?
For trenching.
For
or-
trenching,
this is
Well,
a
you could use
very
it, fire
bad
department
picture.
could use it for building collapse.
yeah, and that's the picture of it in there. So,
So are those hydraulic jacks that
That's
are
what I
in
was
there
gonna
between
ask.
those panels?
Yeah,
Okay.
because otherwise you got the big boxes, you know, that are already put together that goes in there. These here, you can
Any width.
make them smaller, bigger.
They're kind of like an airbag then type of deal.
Well, they're hydraulic, but they fold up to like a ladder, you know?
huh,
Quite a
Sounds
deal.
like something that the community could
handy.
use.
Yep. I think
Probably
it'd be
use
good.
that more than anything else.
are they probably less cumbersome, I'm
Oh, yeah.
assuming?
This is
Uh,
a terrible picture.
Yeah,
Better. That hydraulic part is water in that,
Oh,
So it's water in the lines instead of oil?
right?
oh,
So it's self-contained? Just pump it up, huh? Nice.
that is nice.
and this goes without saying, I'm assuming there's kind of safety latches that lock.
Oh, yeah,
With-
that's all what it's for,
Okay,
so.
all right, good.
Coming from the, work comp, so.
Yeah,
They
What they
should
like
have
to
it
see.
right.
yeah, okay,
Okay.
thank you, Terry.
So do we need to,
Motion to sign the grant.
okay.
Yes,
I'll move that we go ahead and apply for the grant.
I'll second.
discussion? Hearing none, motion on the table with regard to the work comp grant for the trenching equipment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, on pages 20 to 21 is a SPN Phase 4 invoice of 33-210-33213 for the amount of $83,200. And again, this is just for the design. Okay? Nothing more.
Make a motion, we pay SPN's bill for the design phase of phase 4.
A second.
Discussion? Hearing none, motion on the table is to pay the design invoice for $83,200 for the Phase 4 project. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Have we heard anything back about the soil samples?
They did call in a locate for that, so I'm assuming they'll be here pretty quick.
Coming down the road? Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
okay. And the soil samples are in relations to the Phase 4 project? Yes, so that was that, then. Okay,
Well, feasibility of housing for that.
yeah. Okay. Make a
Move to
motion to, go ahead.
Move to approve the bills?
Second.
Discussion? Motion made and second to approve the bills. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay. Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Looks like 32,
33?
32, 73, 33. Yeah.
Is this just an informational?
Well, that's fine. I guess I'll shut this off.
It's all in there.
Is this just an informational?
Yeah, for right now it is. We're gonna go ahead and order it because they wanna get it ordered. We're
Okay.
gonna approve it next time.
What are you looking for, Tom?
That right there's got the lifeguards in it.
Yes?
That
Okay.
does,
And
yeah.
Sydney has reviewed them all and she would like to hire all of them.
Sounds good.
They're all previous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Shayla.
Okay, sounds good.